Hello, my name is Cactus Con Carne, and welcome to my actual kitchen. Today, we are cooking these lovely steaks. So get yourself 2 ribeye grilling steaks, no bones, and we're going to pan sear them and cook them, well, in the pan as well. So you need to set your oven to 500 degrees. Take your frying pan, cast iron, stick it in the oven. When the timer goes off, you need to pull it out and then you can start cooking with it. So as soon as your oven beeps, which mine just did, you need to reach in, grab your pan, and stick it on high heat for 5 minutes. Alright, so while the pan's on the stove getting ready, get yourself some canola oil and get it all over these steaks. Now, I must remind you, these have to be at room temperature. So if you let them sit for about an hour, you just took them out of their fridge, they should be around room temperature. And get it all nice and oily. Perfect. You can set that aside. Grab yourself some salt. Oh, and a little bit of pepper. What you want to do is you want to get it all over it. Rub it in a little bit if you need to. Get both sides with the salt.
Yes.
Throw some over your shoulder for good luck. And get some pepper. It's supposed to be freshly ground, but I don't have any on hand. So I'm just going to use this. Like I said, give both sides nice and good with the pepper as well. Let it get all nice and absorbed. Alright. Make sure you open your window because this is going to smoke a lot. Turn your range fan on, and even you can pull the batteries out of your smoke detector. Alright, so you want to put these in the pan for 30 seconds. Do not touch it. Of course, I don't have seconds on this, so I'm going to set it for a minute. Just do half. Stop, flip it. And you want to go for 2 minutes back in your 500 degree oven. Start that timer. Now flip. Back in for another 2. After the 2 minutes, you can take them out and transfer them to a cooling rig. This is a colander on top of a big old bowl. And that is ribeye steak. What do you mean that was really boring? What do you mean you want something else? All right, fine. Come back. We'll make a sauce, okay? Now, let this cool for a full minute. So once it's cool, add 1/4 of a cup of cognac, or you don't drink peach or apricot or pear juice. This is peach pear juice. Add it quickly and a whisk to get all the good bits out of this pan. Now you have to put back on your oven glove. Get in there. Whisk for about 30 seconds. And then add 1 ounce of blue cheese, crumbled, into the pan. And again, whisk for 30 seconds. You shouldn't need to turn the heat on. The residual heat from the pan should do the trick. Now once you've stirred that, grab yourself 2 tablespoons of butter, cut in half. Add the first one, whisk it in. When that one's melted, add your second one. When it's nice and thick, you can transfer it into a ramekin. A little ramekin so you can dip your steak into. To clean your pan, all you need is a little bit of oil, and some kosher salt. Pour them both in. Grab yourself a rolled up piece of paper towel and just go to town. Rub that salt all over your pan. Don't stop. Until it looks black like this. And then all you have to do is dump the salt. And the pan should still be nice and greasy and seasoned. And that's what you want. Just let it set it off to the side, let it cool. When you probe your steak, you don't want to go through the top or the side like this. You want to go straight through the middle. And your temperature should read about 130. Now these are after it's rested. It's 120, which is perfect. If you're not a big fan of blue cheese, and I know I'm not, what you can do is after you finish cooling everything, You can take the drippings that you've got in the bottom of your, well, I see mine's a plastic bowl, but if you have a metal bowl, you can take the drippings straight over and work it straight on the stove and cut in a little bit of butter and have a wonderful sauce to go on top of your steaks as well. So this is the perfect way to cook a steak in a pan, inside, so you don't have to go and face the weather. If you're too lazy to go and set up your barbecue and get it all ready, this is the perfect way to have a steak. Alright guys, so we're back in the kitchen adjacent. I'm going to do the cost breakdown like I said I would. So for 2 steaks, it's roughly about $14.50 per steak. That's not too terrible. I used about $2 worth of blue cheese for the sauce, about 50 cents worth of juice because it was juice and I'm going to drink the rest of it anyways, and pennies for salt and pepper. I didn't even count that in my price. So altogether, for both, without the cognac, which you're supposed to use, but I used juice instead, it was about $31.50. With the cognac, it's probably about $33 if you already have a bottle of cognac. If not, then that's the cheapest bottle I could find was about $21 for a bottle of cognac. Now at the local steakhouse, just around here, I found a ribeye steak for $32.99 just for one steak at the steakhouse. So I've done less than that for 2 steaks. Mind you, I didn't have any sides or anything like that. But again, that wouldn't be that much more. It's still half the cost of eating out. Now, the biggest thing that everybody's worried about is time. Well, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. The time, it took me about 15 minutes to cook the steaks. That's including the resting time. Now it's about 3 minutes to cook the sauce. And you should be doing that in the 5 minutes that the steaks are resting anyways. So that's still within the 15 minutes of doing it. Now, I mentioned earlier that I'm not a big fan of blue cheese dressing. And there's a story, and it's a long, involved story. I'll try and make it short. A fast food place, new type of sandwich. They had blue cheese dressing on this burger. Nobody mentioned that it was on there. Long story short, it tasted like somebody had thrown up on my sandwich. And a lot of other people felt that way as well. Now, this is my first actual run-in with blue cheese, and I loved it. But I like really strong cheeses. And this is, unfortunately, a really strong cheese. So there you have it. Steaks. Now that's for, like I said, if it's raining, or if you don't have propane, whatever. But you do need to have the cast iron pan. Now you can't do that with a regular old Teflon coated pan, non-stick, because it is bad to put at such high temperatures in the oven. The only one that work is these types of pans because they go from stovetop straight into the oven like that, no problem. The pan is a very useful investment. I think I picked up mine for maybe about $20 for a 12-inch pan, and I've used it numerous times. And it also gives that extra little flavoring, I guess, because it's of the cast iron. And if you treat it well, then you will have a pan for life. They don't really break down that much if you treat them well and season them often. Now, what I did earlier when I cleaned it, I said to let it cool. Now once it's cool, you take some clean paper towel and wipe it out and store it. And you should never, ever have to use water if it's properly seasoned. Now, if you use hard abrasive things like steel wool to clean it, or soap, you're going to have a bad time. It's not something that you should be doing because it will pick up different tastes and flavors and whatever, and it'll ruin your pan. You don't want to do that. There's videos all over the internet on how to reclaim one that's, you know, rusted or somebody's picked up at a flea market. Those are fine, but those are also reseasoned and reseasoned and reseasoned. If you have an old hand-me-down, maybe your grandmother, your mother, those are the best ones because they're well taken care of and well maintained. Unfortunately, I didn't get the option of having that, so I had to go and buy mine. Mine was pre-seasoned, so I haven't had to do that much work to it. I just had to make sure you clean it properly with the oil and salt like that. And like I said, it'll last you a lifetime. So this has been steak. I don't know when I'm going to update next. Probably about every 2 weeks, I'm thinking. So there won't be another video next week, but the week after that I'll probably do something. I do not know what I'm going to do. Like I said, it's all depending on what I feel like eating at the time. Could be anything. Could be a side, it could be a main, it could be anything. Dessert. Depends on how I'm feeling that week, whatever. So that's going to be my update schedule. I'm going to tentatively say once every 2 weeks and leave it at that. And I have been Cactus Con Carne, and this has been Cactus Cooks.